What is up, guys and girls? Hurricane Liz here, and in this video I go over my double three method. I just made that name up on the fly, so I might get it mixed up a couple times, but it's the very method that I use in order to close 95% of OnlyFans models. And these are models that are already doing pretty darn good. So how do we close 95% of those? I'm going to share with you in this video how I go about that process and do that. And you're going to learn a lot about the extra mile we're willing to go to in order to sign these girls. And you'll learn a heck of a lot more. So I'm super fired up for this. I hope you're fired up. Let's do this. All right, so let's talk about this three-step method and why I call it the double three-step method. And before I get into that, just remember that my email is below in case you want to talk about how you can supercharge your OnlyFans agency. I'd be more than happy to jump on a call and talk about that. So my email is included below. But let's go and talk about this double three-step method. I'm making it up as I go along. At least the name. It's not the process. The process came through months and months of refinement and just having to take the answer no several times, particularly from models that were quite successful. So how did we eventually be able to work with some of the top models that there are out there? I'm talking about models that are 0.01% and even better than that. And that is simply through following the method that I'm about to share with you, which is the three-step double method. That's at least what I'm calling it. So the first part of the three-step double method just comes from traditional sales channels. And it's the way that you get people to, or leads that you get to answer and respond to you and start to engage with you. So the first part is simply making sure you reach out via every method available to you, which is through text. That could either be through a text message and or WhatsApp, through phone call, and finally through email. So making sure that you reach out in three separate channels, because remember, when we first start to engage with a prospective client in this case, we want to make sure that we figure out what their preferred medium is. Like, different people are going to respond to different things. So if you think about yourself, what method do you like to be contacted via, or what method is it highly likely that somebody will be able to capture you as a potential client? Like, if you really think about that, I kind of think about myself, and I know that I usually don't like to answer phone calls just because I get so much BS and so much telemarketing crap out there. So phone calls is definitely out of the question for me. So it really comes down to email. I do respond to most emails, but if it's clear that it's from somebody that's doing a cold email, I might not respond to them. So again, you got to think about the context of the email. Is it cold? Is it a warm lead? How do you feel that they'll respond if they're cold or they're warm? And then finally, like me, I more than likely will be able to respond to somebody via text. Like, text method is the most comfortable method for myself. So you got to think about this from your perspective too. But ultimately, like, it's not going to matter what our perspective is. It's going to matter what our prospective client is. In this case, it's the model. So you should reach out through all three mediums at least twice. I do it at least twice. And I like to space it a couple days apart. Like, I don't like to just bombard them day after day after day. So I do that twice. You could probably do it 3 times, but again, space it out so that you give them a little bit of time to breathe. Which brings me to the biggest point and how I absolutely crush all these, and it's like a 95% close rate no matter what model I get on. And again, before I go into the close rate and start like patting my chest, like I'm puffing my chest, like holy shit, I closed 95%. Let me say that it's 95% of the models that we want to work with. It's not every shit show that comes across your plate. It's the models that you want to work with. So obviously, when you get them on the phone, I've done a video on it before, the method that I use to close majority of the models. A lot of people were up in arms. They're like, oh, that's disgusting. You close models. You make them all these promises and you don't even know if you could effing deliver. That's not true. The only way that I will make them promises and I'll agree to help them accelerate their business and or grow their business is if that I know our agency is capable of doing the work. Besides that, if I know I cannot handle it, or if it's an instance where the model is like so huge that she needs more chat agents than we can handle, or more chat agents than we can onboard fast enough, I'm not going to take her. I'm going to tell her the truth. I'm going to say to her, listen, you've got a lot of fans. You've got a lot of engaged fans. It would take us a while to be able to build the infrastructure to be able to take you to the next level. So if you want to go ahead and come on board with us and help us grow into this, that's fantastic. But if not, I completely understand, and I do recommend you look out for someone else. Obviously, I'd love to follow up with you in the future when we do have the infrastructure to be able to do this, and it will take us XYZ amount of time. So I'm straight up with her. I tell her how it is. However, if I do feel that we can take on the job and we can do a better job than what she's either doing or her previous agency's been doing, then it's all on. I'm going to close her. I don't care if people think, oh, that's disgusting. I can't tell if they were saying that because of the industry as a whole, but hey, it's a dirty job. Somebody's got to do it, and I'm definitely going to do it, especially when it pays the bills, and I'm pretty good at it. So that is the big thing with that. I use that method, so if you need to go back and look at all my old OnlyFans videos, and it'll tell you the sales process and how I go about and structure my call in order to get the girl on the phone, explore what she needs, and then be able to show her how and if we can fulfill those needs and build a strong partnership together for the long term. At the end of the day, we are a team, so we're looking to help her build her brand, not dilute it, because I see a lot of agencies out there diluting brands of models, and it's just fucking disappointing. So what I do then is, it's the second part of the three-step method. That's why it's called the double three. The first part is communicate with her on some point, right? Get her to respond to you, get her to engage with you just like you would an OnlyFans sub, right? That's the name of the game. Get her to engage with you. Once she's engaged with us, then we send her out a message that invites her onto a call. And this is where most agencies will fail, because you got a lot of fucking dudes in their underwear scratching their nuts, watching all the porn that they get in their underwear, like doing the OnlyFans, or at least like scratching off their pimples. Maybe they're not scratching their nuts, I'm sorry, but they're doing this half-ass. They don't really care. They're just diluting the girl's brand. So they're not really doing a solid job of the whole industry in general, like a solid for the whole industry. So what we do is we send out a message where we push to get this girl, the prospective girl, on a Zoom call. So yeah, we got to show our face. You don't want to be a faceless person. You don't want to be the agency owner that no one's ever seen, because again, like I said, you're in your freaking dirty underwear, scratching your pimples off your face and trying to figure out how you're going to chat these people up to make this girl some money. So get on a Zoom call, show your face, show up. Even if you show up like in a baseball cap, at least the model sees that you are a real person. Again, at the end of the day, your goal is to try to get her to like you. And to do that, you should be clean. You should at least be presentable and able to get on a camera, just like I'm on a camera with you right now. So typically, it's me and another member of our team that are on this call with the girl. Sometimes she'll bring her partner, sometimes it's her boyfriend, sometimes it's just a business partner. We jump on a call and I begin to take her through my process that I talked about in that other video, which is first get a gauge, tell her what we plan to do on the call, get a gauge where she's at, where she wants to be, and then see if we can fill in a potential gap for that opportunity to help her grow to where she wants to get to. And in order to do this, it's going to take certain tools. So I listen to what problems she has. I ask her further questions on these problems. And then I give her the lowdown. Like, can we do this? Do we think we're capable of solving those problems and then taking her to the next level? Or does she just not make sense for us to take on? It could be the case where she's brand new, so then we direct her to our self-managed plan. Or it could be the case where her expectations are just like off the charts and she doesn't know what the hell she's thinking. Or it could be the case that I just know that we can't help her. She could be too demanding, and she just could be the type of person that's not going to fit well with the way that we look at things. Now, one other thing that I do want to say, we have come across a lot of girls where initially we're like, holy shit, this girl's going to be a pain in the ass. Like, she asks 40 questions before we even get her on call. She just seems to be a pain in the ass, and it's going to be impossible to help her and help her get to where she needs to be. And I actually take the time to answer those questions, and we jump on a call, and it turns out she's the easiest going person on the planet, and she's so appreciative of the fact that I took the time to answer all her questions, and was the first agency to ever do that out of dozens and dozens that she's spoken to, and she's turned out to be a dream. So a lot of times they might put things on your plate that are going to seem impossible, and you might think that out the gate they're just going to be a pain in the ass. But I do encourage you to take that call, get on a call with her, and see how it works and see what the vibe is like, and take it from there. And then the last and final thing that I do, and this is the magic sauce, this is the secret sauce that nobody else will tell you, this knocks it out of the park, and we get girls to sign almost instantly. And we signed 5 last week. A couple of them were pretty already high up there. is sending them out a proposal. And it's a freaking well-written proposal. I'm just going to have to brag about that. I mean, most of you guys know I'm a writer. You're on my email list. If you're not, send me an email. I'll put you on an email list. It's very entertaining. It talks about all my OnlyFans conquests and all the other shit that I do, which is fun. And, well, in that particular proposal, it outlines what we spoke about, a recap of where she is, where she wants to get to, and our strategic game plan of what we can do for her. And then it just thanks her at the end. And that's it. It's usually a 2-page proposal. It's well written. It's gives her a game plan on what we're going to do. That way she can always look back at it and make sure that we're fulfilling our end of the bargain. And that's it. Once she gets that, they're pretty much, I'm ready to go. They want the contract over. They want the content creation schedule over. And they want to know what the next steps are. And that is the 3x3, the double 3 method that I use to sign or capture almost 95% of girls that we interview. And I don't really want to tell you guys the real number because you will not believe it, but it's a method that I don't think a lot of agencies out there are using because it takes that extra step and not a lot of people are willing to put the work in to grab these girls up. But other than that, questions and comments go below. Again, my email is below in case you want to learn how you can supercharge your OF agency to the moon and back. So I'll see you guys next time.